We're here at Soda Creek Campground, Deschutes National Forest here in Central Oregon. Let's go check out the campsites. So here is site one, just for bearings. We're right next to the gate, the opening of the campground. You got your driveway, you got a picnic table, fire pit on the left, not a lot of square footage. Obviously there on the left is where you put your tent. So you park here, you can see a straight shot to the next site, presumably two. You got one tree, let me pan back. Doesn't really provide much shade, keeping it real, it's pretty. Picnic table, fire pit behind it. And then kind of a little area for your tent. You got a little side trail, probably up to a little viewing area. But so this is site one here at Soda Creek Campground. I would say this is more of a base camp campground, right next to the Sparks Lake area. Also just on the road is your Green Lakes Trail, as well as the South Sister Climb. So this is definitely a base camp. So that was site one. Here is site two. Got a nice turnabout, good for maybe an RV. Very nice. This one's got a little bit more square footage than one did. Got your picnic table, your fire pit there on the left. Nice big flat area for your tent. I will say it looks like there's a trail access point. We're right next to the Sparks Lake recreation area. Also a vast trail system takes you over to Hosmer Lake and Hosmer Lava Lake. So you can go do that. If you want a day-long, full day hike, you can go that way. I'm sure it connects up. So I'd say this one's a little bit better than one, smaller as far as square foot. You do have the turnabout, presuming that would be good for an RV. So two is better than one, that's for sure. Okay, so that was campsite two. Again, I would consider this more of a base camp campground. I typically divide campgrounds into two types. You got your destination worthy idyllic, and then you got more your logistical play base camp. This would be a logistical play base camp. So it says no parking only. There's also another sign over there on the post that says no parking. Looks like you have a restroom straight ahead. That is the restroom for Soda Creek Campground. And here we've got site three, see a little brown post. Also the campground sign right there, as well as a dumpster. So here you've got your picnic table and your fire pit for three, which is right next to the restroom. So you park right here essentially. Kind of interesting. Fire pit, picnic table. Again, it says no parking, restroom over there. You do have your friend right there. You've got a picnic table, presumably four right next to you. This is kind of your area for your tent, a couple flat spots. I would say out of the first three is my least favorite so far. You've got your neighbor right there. It's kind of a little unclear and nebulous, this area. This is like where you put your tent, but there's also a little path to the restroom. This whole little no parking thing that looks like a parking spot, a little confusing. So I'm not really a fan of three. I think two is the best so far. And we will continue along. Beautiful ethereal fog across the way. We're right up against the Sparks Lake area. If you know anything about Sparks Lake, it is a lake that completely evaporates, so there's like nothing there here in October. And we will continue along. Today is October 2nd, 2025. We are adjacent to beautiful Soda Creek, hence the namesake Soda Creek Campground. So here's our campground road and our dumpster. There was three. Here is a little sign for four. You can see there's more sites going this way. So we got kind of a longer parking for four. This is interesting. It's starting to rain on me a little bit, but I was expecting that. I'm wearing Gore-Tex. And here's our picnic table and our fire pit. So see, I don't really like the lot lines you see across the way. That's three. So three and four are a little on top of each other. Kind of, to me, a negative. Got kind of a cool flat area here, divided out by these logs. Again, you got good access to the dumpster. That's convenient, but other people will go and drop and stuff there a little bit in your business. Three is right there, horrible lot lines. Four, picnic table, fire pit, and you got the restroom right there. So not really a fan of three and four as much. More of a logistics play. You definitely give away some of your privacy with your neighbor and with the restroom right there. So three and four. So far, my favorite is two. But I also have reasonable expectations for this. I said it's more of a base camp campground, so I wasn't expecting this to be like idyllic. I mean, it's a beautiful area. I love Deschutes National Forest, but I wasn't really expecting these to be like incredible. So here is five. For bearings, there's a continuation of the campground road. So five's actually got a long driveway, which is good. You want a long driveway. That means you're going to be more offset from the campground road, a little bit more privacy generally. So I see long driveway, I get excited. Flat area there, you can put your tent over there. Picnic table, fire pit, you can pull your car all the way up here. So this is actually nice. Five is nice. I'm liking five. Five's the best so far, I'd say. Keeping it real. Love this little grove of trees. It's a Christmas tree height. I'm digging it. Beautiful. Even looks like this might be a little trail This whole area is kind of built out trail network wise over to the Sparks Lake Recreation Area, and ultimately trail system takes you again to Hosmer and Lava Lake. You can see you got the restroom right there. Here's our picnic table fire pit. Here's our driveway. Right now I'm digging that ethereal fog off in the distance, but that won't probably be there. This is October 2nd, 2025. So I really like this. Good square footage. Doesn't feel claustrophobic. Picnic table fire pit. You have a good breakage of line of sight with this cluster, this grove of trees. So 5 feels great. Nice long driveway, offset, close enough to the restroom. There's a little side path to the restroom for your convenience, but broken up with trees so it doesn't feel like it's up in your business. So 5 is definitely the best one so far, in my humble opinion. 4 is not too close. So out of the first 5, I'd say 5 is the best, second is second. And we shall continue along down our campground road. Man, I love this area. I got to say, I got a little bit of a bias in favor. Deschutes National Forest is my favorite forest in the state of Oregon, and I love me a good pine, good spruce, good mountain hemlock, green lakes down the way. I've got full videos of that as one of my favorite hikes, as well as Todd Lake to No Name Lake to Bend Glacier, also one of my other favorite hikes. And so I'm a super fan of Three Sisters Wilderness, super fan of this area. For that reason, I think this is a great base camp zone. I am a fan, so highly recommend this area. If you are a wilderness adventurer, I think you would do well to come into this zone. So this campground is very well suited to be a base camp. Here is site 6. I'll give you a little bearing. You can see a couple more posts there. So it's a little bit of a cluster zone. So we'll see how that impacts the line of sight privacy. Here's 6. Picnic table, fire pit. So is this a double or no? That's a different one. Ooh, flag on the field, my friend, flag on the field. So standing right here, you see 3 more posts, those brown posts. Those are all different campsites. So this is a cluster in more ways than one, if you catch my drift. So here is the picnic table fire pit. Probably put your tent right there with that little puddle of water. As I said, it's raining right now. Normally there wouldn't be a puddle of water there, but look at how horrible these lot lines are. You got a picnic table there, picnic table over there. That's laughably bad. That's like 20 feet. Come around here, give you a perspective from this way. So, not a fan. I'll tell you right now, this for me is a serious deal breaker. This is 6, picnic table fire pit right here, and then you got your picnic table like 20 feet away. Like you're basically, if those are strangers and you're 2 single family parties, that is awkward. That's miserable. Like I would never in a million years want to come to 6 and then have some strangers like 20 feet away from me, basically your new forced best friend. And that's not why I come camping, to be forced to, it's at the point you're like in a social experiment phase where you're being forced to interact with another family and basically live with them for 1, 2, 3 nights. That sounds absolutely horrible. There's no way to break it up. There's no line of sight breakage. Like it's just wham bam. So if you can grab both these as like a group play, friends, family, you can kind of combine them into a super site. Okay, now that makes sense. This whole area is your swath. But if this is 2 single family, parties, and that is freaking awful. Keeping it real. So see, the variance in quality, this is why we do the reviews from site to site, is massive. This was 6. 5 was great. 2 was great. Those are probably the only 2 I like so far. But 5 was definitely the best one thus far. So as we continue along, this is that no privacy cluster. Here's 7, we were just looking at from 6, picnic table fire pit. Here's your parking. Look, 8 and 9 are like right over here. So, and then 10, these are the last 3. So this is the end of the line as far as this campground. So coming around here, you can almost do all these as one. Here's 7. So just like I was saying from 6, like way too close to 6, like 20 feet away. You're basically camping with strangers, no line of sight breakage, not a fan. I won't be repetitive. Clearly I don't like 7 or 6. Little brown post, here's 8, and looks like 9's right there. So might be the same situation. You can come up here. If you got like a Mini Cooper, this probably isn't gonna be good for you. It's a little bit rough. Like Subaru would be fine, Mini Cooper or Miata, not so much. Come up here, picnic table fire pit for 8. Kind of weird how high up this driveway is, and it's very unbalanced. You put your tent right there. Again, fire pit, picnic table. Come up here. Where's 9? Ooh, 9's right there. Yeah, again, like I'm sitting at my picnic table right now and I'm just staring at 9. Hello there, 9. How are you? Not a fan. This is a little awkward. So 9's right there, right in your business. I like these little mangled pines. These are cool. Again, there's your fire pit sitting at our picnic table. So I don't know, man. Not really a fan. Oh, there's 6 and 7 right there. So you're triangulated, 6 and 7 behind you, 9 next to you. This driveway is surprisingly uneven, so you can bottom out. If you're a sedan, as I said, if you're a Mini Cooper or Miata, probably wouldn't be doing 8, because you are probably going to hurt your vehicle. Keeping it real. Do so at your own risk, your own caution. And here is site 9. It's not really a parking spot, looks like. Looks like you just kind of maybe park where I'm standing right now, kind of a shoulder parking situation. There's not a little stall that you can pull up. 9's kind of weird. I don't really like how it is. It's like its frontage is blocked with trees, so there's not like an obvious opening. You come up here and you would think that that's 9, but no, that's 8. So you're like walking by 8 to get up to 9. I don't like how they did 8 and 9, not just for the privacy lines, but just as far as the feng shui approach is not great. It's kind of a little confusing. So here all of a sudden now we're at 9. Picnic table, fire pit. Good news is you're kind of near the back of the campground, closer to Sparks Lake area. Bad news is it's horrible privacy lot lines. You can see standing right here, the other side of the spruce, you got a picnic table that is 10. So you got 10 right on the other side of this tree. You got your picnic table, fire pit. You are up against the back of the campground, but you look over here, you got 8, and then on the other side of those trees, you got 6, 7. So 6, 7, 8, 9, 10 to me is not where dreams are made. Keeping it real, this is very cluster. If you got a big group of people, grab the whole area as a base camp, great. But if you're a bunch of single families, probably not very comfortable, kind of sacrificing privacy and quality for being in this area. Looking towards Sparks Lake. Again, it's October 2nd, so it's basically dried up for the year. June, July is kind of the time of the year you want to enjoy Sparks Lake. It's obviously not even in existence here in October. But again, over here, looks like there is a little bit of a trail system. You might have trail access over to the Sparks Lake area, ultimately Hosmer Lake and Lava Lake. I don't know for sure, but kind of feels like there's a little bit of a trail system there. So that is 9. Go back down this way. I will say it's very confusing even how to access 9, because you have this like open area, but this is obviously 10. We're getting to 10 in a second. So this isn't the area. The brown post was over here. See, on the right here, you got 8 and then you got 9 here right next to this pine. But where are you supposed to park? Like, I guess you park right here on the shoulder and then you kind of walk through these pines right next to 8. But then if you walk this way, you're over to 10. So 9's tucked in here awfully. I hate 9. 9's probably my least favorite. I don't like how it is. No feng shui. It's awkward. It feels like you're in somebody else's business no matter how you play it. I also really didn't like 6 and 7. So not a fan of 6, 7, 8, 9. And last but not least, here is 10. Here's kind of the continuation of our campground road, our roundabout, turn around. So good news is you do actually have a nice big parking spot. So right now I'm in the parking spot, no shade. So if this is hot summer, you are absolutely gonna need your sunscreen. So this one's kind of barren. I don't really like how this is. You got your picnic table. You do have some trails going that way. That's neat. You have this kind of line of trees breaking you up between this campsite, Site 10, and Sparks Lake. That would matter more like July when that's actually a lake. But there's absolutely no like tree cover. So you got no shade. You're basically just glorified camping in the high desert almost. I mean, this is Deschutes National Forest, but kind of has that high desert feel. So not a fan of how this is situated. Again, you got this big, beautiful blue spruce. I love the spruce, but just on the other side of it, you got a picnic table and fire pit. So if 9 is sitting there, then you will absolutely hear them and sense their presence here from 10. So I am not a fan of 10. I don't like the lack of shade. I don't like the proximity to the lake, and with 6, 7, 8, 9, 10 kind of one giant cluster. So not digging it. This is interesting. Obviously a little bit of a trail system. I don't know if it's like a game trail, if this is meant to be an actual trail. I don't think it's meant to be like a trailhead trail, but coming over here a little bit, seeing what this is, why not? So this is Sparks Lake straight ahead. Obviously October 2nd, it's gone. June, July is prime time for Sparks Lake, and it goes away every year. It's temporary. So this isn't any great shakes. It's almost like a field because it's basically the bed of a lake. When the lake is not there, it's not foresty, it's just like a big field. So there's not really anything you can do there. It's not really a play area, it's just kind of there. So this little trail doesn't get you anything good, I would say. So keeping it real as far as Soda Creek Campground, not a fan of this back cluster, 10, 9, 8, 7, 6. Very poor privacy lines. Okay, so I just looked at all 10 campsites here at Soda Creek Campground, Deschutes National Forest, Central Oregon. Definitely a base camp campground, not an idyllic destination campground, but I think that's known. I really didn't like the back half, 6 through 10, horrible privacy lines. If you're a single family, I probably wouldn't even want to do any of those, keeping it real. Great area to come if you're gonna go do Green Lakes or South Sister Climb or No Name Lake and Ben Glacier, back up to Bachelor. A great area to be, kind of use as your base camp. That said, probably the best site here, I don't even think it's close, is site 5, which I happen to be walking by right now because it's got a nice long driveway. It's a little offset. Only one that you really felt a sense of privacy lines. There it is right there. So 5 is definitely my favorite. Number 2 is my second favorite. Those are, I think, the highest quality of the 10. Beyond that, I don't think any of the other ones are really that good. 2 is not even that great. I think it's 5 is the best one, and it's not even close. So high quality base camp. I'm a super fan of Deschutes National Forest, so it's always nice being in this area. Go get your world-class hiking on, but just understand what you're getting yourself into. This is a base camp. This is not an idyllic destination campground. That said, I think this is a pretty high quality base camp. Soda Creek Campground here in Deschutes National Forest. So that concludes my review of Soda Creek Campground. Last thing I'll say, if you're staying here, it's worth coming over to check out Soda Creek.